With our state's reliance on sales tax dollars to fund government, will these proposals generate enough new revenue to keep our state solvent?
Where I'm coming from on this is to really be forthright about it and say that, A, we cannot have a state income tax. We have a situation with our sales tax revenue because it's a consumption tax, and in fact it's not just regressive, it's really repressive. And so we really have to look at our sales taxes as what we have to work with. There's some things that we can fund off, or aside from the sales tax, but what we really have to do is rebuild prosperity in Tennessee. We can no longer just rely on the old jobs. We have to create new jobs in the new industries, and that's why renewable energy and our opportunity to lead the United States in solar, for example, is so important. It's why geothermal is so important and being put in so many college campuses around the state, in all sorts of government buildings and office buildings. My wife and I put geothermal in our house, and there's a whole economy of people who are beginning to do this, but we need to make it front and center in what we're doing in Tennessee.
Here at Volunteer State, we are also concerned about higher education. You suggest that we should double the number of associate degrees over the next 5 years and double bachelor degrees in the next 10 years. Why do you think that's important?
Well, going back to my point about assets and using those to our best ability, I think it should be painfully clear to people that not everybody is going to graduate from high school and go immediately to a 4-year institution and walk out with a bachelor degree. That's the minority of Tennesseans who actually do that. And so I think we have to stop focusing on funneling as much money as we can to K through 12 with the thought that that's going to fix everything. And in fact, what we really need to do is focus on pre-K, and then we need to focus on the opportunities that people have later in life and the challenges that they have. So the state community colleges and technical schools are really going to be front and center in not only how we provide opportunities for people to get additional training or to get that first education before they then go on to a 4-year college experience if they decide to do that, but also how if they lose their job or they have concerns about their past training and feel that they need more training, that they can do that. So if you looked at my website, there's a short film on there that we have that we made called The Green Line. And it's all about how we're really going to connect jobs and our state community colleges and technical schools as the truly regenerative grid for Tennessee.
K through 12 education is a large part of the state's overall budget. What are we doing right in public education, and where can we improve?
I think there are a lot of things that are being done right. I think our teachers are wonderful, and I think everything that we're really trying to do there is good. I think the emphasis needs to shift, though, from the pounding drumbeat that if you don't go immediately to a 4-year college, that somehow you're a failure. And that's the message that's being sent. And there are a lot of kids who are going to school who really wonder, why am I here? And my parent or parents are losing their job, and what am I going to do, and what's this all about? Instead, I think what we can do a better job of is connecting our community colleges into our high school programs, and we are seeing this around the state. We also can do a better job of providing our high school students more training toward more immediate jobs, so that if by chance they do come out of the education system on an unplanned basis, they have a skill or a trade that they can fall on and depend upon, and then always come back and have an ability after that to come back into school. I guess that would be B. And I'd say C is we need to see more business incubation as part of our technical schools and our state community colleges. And I noticed that Vol State is looking at the possibility of that. It's being done in other states. We should be doing it pervasively across Tennessee, and also linking the opportunity for capital or investment into new businesses and business incubation and we're seeing that in other states, and we need to be doing that in Tennessee also.
You propose to reduce class sizes and increase teachers' pay. Can this be done without raising taxes?
Well, in the immediate, I don't think that's going to be an easy opportunity to seize. Pay raises are going to be problematic. I think what we really are going to do is focus on where we can place our educational assets to get the most for those. And then as we go forward, then that is something I would like to see happen.
Okay. Well, changes to health care are a major concern for most Tennesseans. If the federal health care reforms shift some of the costs to the states, how do we pay for any mandated increases in TennCare?
You know, when you run a business, there are really two factors that you're looking at. One is how you either grow your revenues or cut your expenses. And one of the biggest challenges in Tennessee is that we have 70% health care preventable disease. And so that's a huge expense that we have to bring down over time. Now, preventable disease is kind of a convenient term for self-inflicted disease, and a lot of that is really attributable to diet, which is really a kind of a convenient term or a euphemism for food. And so food sourcing, like water, or like a lot of things, is really going to be a very important issue as we go forward. And here's an interesting statistic. There are 500,000 people who are employed in the process of bringing our local food to us, farming, raising it, distributing it. And if across the state we really did something like put in a decrease in the sales tax on Tennessee goods, Tennessee created grown goods, and encouraged people to buy local and organic when possible, then that would be a great way to do two things. One, help reduce our level of preventable disease in the state, and two, build up our community prosperity and job creation through really supporting our local farmers in a way that's meaningful outside of a government program that just, shifts subsidies.
So do you think that would be another way to reduce healthcare costs?
I think it is the way to do it. I think it's the only way to really come at it in a way that makes sense, and there are two parts to this. I'm glad you gave me a follow-up question. One part of it is through things like early detection and then disease management, and that's a big part of the medical area these days. And really what that is making sure that people are taking their medication, they are taking that walk that the doctor said they need to take. So it's real front end or current rather than back end, dealing with a problem that's already gotten to be too big. So that's one solution. The other solution is really food-based, and if we can educate toward that in the case of something like early education, pre-kindergarten, then it's really it's where diet, infant mortality, all these things are linked together. So it's an area where we need to bear down, and it's an area where we have to have change, because sickness is something that we all pay for.
Mm.